Hello, I'm Cher, the Shadow Walker, and I'm taking a look at cryptid encounters across Canada and the United States, the upper United States. And I am in central Canada in the northeast region of the United States. And I've bumped it to 72 hours, even though I put on there it's for 48, just to get enough information. So I'm starting with Quebec, and in the Par du Sepchut area, that's the Saint Zélande region, and that is at 11:10 p.m. on April 6th. Two late season hikers, they witnessed a canine-headed humanoid standing near one of the cliff overlooks. They described it as being over 7 feet tall, with broad shoulders and glowing amber eyes. The creature remained stationary, watching them from a distance for about 50 yards before emitting a low, chest vibrating growl that retreated into the tree line after that. And they reported it to the Quebec Cryptid Research and to the Dogman File of Canada. In the Chic-Choc Mountains in the Gaspé region at 3:45 a.m. on April 7th, one person, which was it was a transport driver on Route 198, saw a large silver gray figure on the shoulder of the road. As the truck passed, the figure stood upright and stepped over the ditch into the deep timbers. It should be an S on the other. The driver noted the creature was the size and said it was absolutely massive, easily taller than the track cab. That's pretty big. And they reported it to the regional sightings log. And in the James Bay region, a hellhound was sighted at 1:30 a.m. on April 6th by two people. They were local night security. They reported a jet black canine the size of a small bear pacing the edge of a frozen waterway. The witness noted the creature left no visible tracks on the crusty snow and seemed to dissolve into the heavy-duty spotlight when it was trained directly on them. In Ontario, in the Bancroft, Hastings County area near the York River on April 6th, two people. They witnessed a soul-reading encounter where a large-headed canine humanoid stood at the edge of their yard. They described the creature as having heavy muscular chest and eyes that seemed to glow with intelligence of amber light. They reported feeling an intense mental pressure before the creature turned and walked away into the bush on its hind legs. You know, when I had my dogman encounter, I never had that. We had mind link, but I never had any panic in me. And my dogs didn't panic, they just sat there. And a Bigfoot was sighted in the Algoma region, Sault Ste. Marie, at 4:10 a.m. on April 7th. One person, a hydro worker, while inspecting a line near a remote service road, the witness saw a dark, hairy figure roughly 8 feet tall standing near the transformer station. The figure reportedly stepped over a 4-foot fence with ease and disappeared into the dense timbers without making a sound, and they reported it to the Ontario Sightings File. In the Caledon region, that's Peel region, 2:30 a.m. on April 6th, a night shift driver reported a massive jet black dog sitting in the middle of a gravel road. The witness noted the dog had red reflective eyes and did not move as the car approached, forcing the driver to stop. When the driver honked his horn, the creature vanished instantly, leaving no tracks on the soft shoulder. And they reported it in the local community sightings. That's it for Ontario. In New Hampshire, in the last 72 hours, a Bigfoot in the White Mountain National Forest near Lincoln, 9:50 p.m. on April 6th. Two people witnessed a heavy rhythmic thumping outside their campsite. Upon investigating with a high luminant flashlight, they captured a brief glimpse of a large upright figure covered in dark reddish brown hair retreating into the granite cropping. The witness reported the heavy primate-like huffing sound as it disappeared, and they reported it to the New Hampshire Cryptid Research. I always like to see, if you noted in the last one, which was in Quebec, it had a silvery tinge to it. Could be that there was more snow in the mountains in that area. So it's camouflaging, whereas here it's camouflaging with the trees before the foliage changes, right? So there's a dog man in Cheshire County in in the state park that's there on April 7th at 3:45 a.m. One person, a massive wolf-like humanoid standing on its hind legs near the perimeter fence. The witness described the creature as having pointed ears and a very narrow waist compared to the broad shoulders. It watched the security guard vehicle for several seconds before dropping onto all fours and sprinting into the woods with incredible speed. And they reported it to the local security log, of course, and to the regional sightings dispatch. And a hellhound in Merrimack County near Concord on the outskirts at 1:30 on April 6th, one person, a motorist, reported a jet black dog described as being the size of a Great Dane but much heavier build, sitting perfectly still at a four-way stop. The witness noted the eyes had a persistent red glow. It did not appear to be reflecting the car's headlights. The creature was gone when the witness looked back after checking their mirror, and they reported it to the Community Sightings Board for Hellhounds. Vermont, the past 72 hours. Rutland County, near an abandoned campground site. At 1 a.m. on April 6th, two people, identified as Jack and Aiden, that's what they don't give last names, while exploring a foggy remote campsite, the witnesses encountered a canine-headed humanoid that approached within 10 to 15 feet of them. The creature they described the creature as having massive shoulders and terrifyingly fluid movement. It remained in the vicinity for several minutes before they were able to retreat to their vehicles. And they reported it to the Dogman Encounters. And a Bigfoot in the Green Mountains near Bennington on April 5th at 10:40, one person who was hiking. The witness reported a large shadowy figure standing approximately 7.5 feet tall near the trail crossing. The creature emitted a series of whistling sounds followed by two heavy wood knocks. When the witness turned their lights towards the source, the figure moved into the deeper timbers with extreme speed, leaving a foul, sulfurous odor behind. And they reported it to the Vermont Bigfoot Research Group. And a hellhound in the Snake Mountains area in Addison County at 2:55 a.m. on April 7th. And this is a farmhand. The report of a jet black beast with glowing eyes sitting at the edge of the pasture. The witness noticed that the livestock were in a state of high agitation. The creature did not make a sound and appeared to sink into the shadows when the farmhand approached with a spotlight, and they reported it to the local community sightings board. You'll note with these encounters that they are not aggressive. Nobody's being attacked by them. So sometimes I hear of those with rock throwings and things. And I think perhaps at this time of the year when they're nesting and they're giving birth, that they're being very protective of the females and the young. So, yeah, be mindful when you're out there. I wouldn't be going alone. Pennsylvania, over the last 72 hours, there was a Bigfoot in the Center County area, I-180 corridor near mile marker 169 at 5:30 p.m. on April 5th. Three people, and they were all in separate vehicles. They saw a dark, human-like figure reported crossing the westbound lanes of I-80. Witness described the figure as moving with effortless glide, clearing the barricades in a single stride without breaking a pace. One witness, a retired engineer, noted the creature was roughly between 7.5 to 8 feet tall, but with a slender, powerful build. I think it's a younger one. And they reported it to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. And a dog man in the Freedom area. It's 35 minutes north of Pittsburgh. At 9 p.m., on April 6th, two people, they were hiking, they encountered a 7-foot tall black figure with a German Shepherd-like face hunched near the creek bed. Interestingly, the witnesses reported the creature held its paws to its chest in a begging stance before letting out a low, vibrating growl and sprinting off bipedally. They noted a feeling of heavy air or static before the sighting, and they reported it to the regional cryptid search file. And a hellhound in Marlinville area near the National Forest at 2:15 a.m. on April 7th. One person, this is a forestry worker, reported a massive jet black canine with burning eyes pacing the edge of the timber landing. The witness stated that the creature made no sound even when moving through the dry brush. When the worker engaged the truck's spotlights, the creature did not run. It simply shadowed out and was gone. And they reported it to the internal forestry log and they flagged it on the hellhound file. New York State, in the past 72 hours, in the White Hill area, Washington County, which is the Bigfoot capital of the Northeast. At 10:15 p.m. on April 6th, two local residents encountered a large figure estimated at 8 feet tall with glowing red eyes, and it was seen standing near the edge of a field near Abar Road. The witness reported the creature stood perfectly still for several minutes, staring toward the house before emitting a terrible mechanical sound scream and retreating into the brush. And they reported it to the Whitehall Bigfoot Research. And there was a dog man at Hyde Park in the Hudson Valley area at 1:30 a.m. on April 7th. And one person who was commuting encountered a wolf-headed humanoid running along the wood line parallel to the road. The creature was moving on all fours at high speed, but briefly stood bipedally to navigate a steep incline. The witness described its build as unnaturally muscular with a dark matted coat, and they reported it to the North American Dogman Project. Well, that's great. If their coats are matted right now, that means they're molting. Spring is on the way. Here we've had snow this week, so every time I hear that, I know spring's coming. And a hellhound in Sullivan County, the Hurleyville area, at 3:10 a.m. on April 6th. One person, they encountered a jet black massive canine, and it was captured on a remote perimeter camera. The creature appeared to be pacing the fence line of a private estate. It showed high intensity eye shine of yellow red and moved with a silent gliding motion that the witness described as not appearing to touch the ground. And they reported it in their local security log, and it was flagged in the hellhound file. State of Michigan, over the past 72 hours, in the Manistee River area, State Forest in the Wexford County area at 11:40 on April 6th. Two people fishing, I guess. The witnesses, reported a 7-foot tall bipedal canine standing on the ridge overlooking the river. They described it as having glowing amber eyes and a muscular, like torso, covered in dark fur. The creature let out a high-pitched howl that transitioned into a deep guttural growl before sprinting away bipedally into the brush, and they reported it to the Michigan Dogman sighting log. And in the Pennsylvania area, a Bigfoot or Sasquatch, whichever you prefer, in the Paradise area at 9:10 p.m. on April 5th, and this was a motorist, just the one person, encountered a large dark figure crossing M123. The witness reported that the creature cleared the road in two massive strides and vanished into the heavy timbers. Heavy wood knocks were heard coming from the same area approximately 15 minutes later by another resident in a nearby cabin, and they reported it to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. And a hellhound in Port Huron region in St. Clair County at 2:50 a.m. on April 6th. And its two people reported a massive jet black dog with blazing eyes pacing the shore near an international border. The security team noted the creature moved with a silent gliding motion and did not appear on the infrared sensors, despite being visible to the naked eye. It disappeared instantly when approached. And they put it in the internal security log and it was flagged in the Hellhound file. That's it for Michigan, and that's it for that area. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please don't hike alone. Thank you. Bye.